Good morning, everyone. This is July 29th, 2019 trade recap video. So for everyone that's new or doesn't know how I go about doing things, every single morning I send out a list of stocks that I'm watching, with kind of my outlook for them, support resistance levels drawn out, whether if I'm looking for a short entry or a long position. So go ahead and send this out every morning so everyone knows what I'm looking. That way, when I say, hey guys, get in on this, you guys know where it's coming from. So for today, I was looking at Zoom, Square, FedEx, Disney, Snapchat, and RTN. Um, yeah, so for Zoom, I was looking for kind of a long entry or a potential pullback. For Square, same thing. Looking for a long entry, but I would not be surprised if there was a pullback going on. Disney, I was long for since last week. FedEx, short, Snapchat, and RTN, long or short depending on the price action. So let's get started with today's trades. I only ended up taking 3 trades today, and my first trade was Disney. So real quick, with a quick Disney overview. One, Disney has earnings coming up on August 6th, so that is exactly 8 days from today, or 7 days from tomorrow. So kind of seeing this, I'm using my study parameters of TEMAs, triple exponential moving average. It's kind of the same thing as a simple moving average or even as an exponential moving average, just triple that, so 3 times better. So kind of what I'm looking for is a crossover between the two of them. So the purple going over the orange, so, or the faster going over the slower one, that is an indication for a long entry. The purple going in under the orange one, that's an indication for a short entry. So just as you can see throughout, for example, right here, the purple crossed the orange, an upward trend, and then Disney went ahead and skyrocketed from 110 to like 145, I believe. So kind of the same thing over here. This was on a downtrend, so Disney went from, what is that, 138 all the way down to 130 level. So that's kind of my indications. Over here, I know it's really hard to see because of all the support and resistance levels that I've drawn out. But as you can see right here, the purple and orange line, they're doing a crossover. The purple is crossing over the orange on an upward trend. So for me, that's a clear indication it's time to get long in the stock. So just seeing that quick overview of what the stock is doing on a daily, yearly basis, I know what I'm due on an intraday basis. So going into my favorite time frames is 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and then 3 and 5 minute candles. So on the 15-minute, just looking at Disney's performance for the past 5 days or for the past week, you can see that it will always start off strong. Always starts off strong, cools down towards the end of the day. Then the following day opens up strong, cools off. Next day opens up stronger, not stronger, but just opens up high, goes down low, and then for the past 2 or 3 days, it's been on a continuous upward trend. So let's go ahead and just draw that trend line. So as you can see, that way everybody can see what I'm talking about. Let's make that a different color. So I don't know, let's do like purple or whatever. So as you can see, constantly upward trend, kind of respecting this trend line. So starts off here, goes up, goes up, goes up, pulls down a little bit, sees this trend line, bounces back up, same thing, goes up, bounces down to the trend line, bounces back up. So right now, we can go ahead and extend it just a little bit so you guys can see kind of what I'm seeing. Right now in after hours, the price is moving towards the trend line, so I expect tomorrow to open up much higher than the 46, 47 level. So almost going to the 48, 49 level. So for today's entry position, so on a daily basis, you already know that the purple and orange line, they're on a positive upward trend. So now we want to see that happen on an intraday basis too. So in the pre-market hours, you can see that the purple and orange line, they kind of crossed over. So right here at a critical 40, at the critical 45 support or resistance level, crossed over an upward trend, meaning this stock is about to explode to the upwards. So right here, right at opening, you have to be really quick for it. If you were not, trading at 9 a.m. or 9:30 a.m., you missed out on great opportunities. So right here at opening bell, it went from, hold on, let me get my price line. So it went from 45.65 all the way to 46.40. Pull down, and then found support at the 45.50 level, right where it opened, and bounced up, bounced down. So kind of did a W shape, as you guys can see, or more so of a double bottom. So if you guys are not familiar with double bottom, this is what a double bottom looks like. So you find the place, a typical, a common support level. So right here, this 145. So hit it here, hit it here. So that's the double bottom. It has like a W shape. So you see the left leg right here, bounces up, makes like the V in the middle, and then bounces back down, goes down to the other, makes the V, starts making the V shape on the bottom. I mean on the right hand side, and then shoots up upwards. So seeing that right there, the opening, and keeping into consideration that also the TMAs, they're on an upward trend. This right here was the perfect entry level at 145.92. So I went ahead and bought a couple calls for the 146, 147, bought them in, and just rode this wave all the way up, till I paid myself here, where I sold 2 contracts, and I held one, just because I'm still pretty positive on this upward trend. So now let's do some different charts so you guys see what I'm talking about. Another chart that I really like using is kind of this setup where it has the clouds. So what the clouds represent, if there's a green cloud, it means that there's strong buying power in this stock. So you can get in and just ride this all the way up until it converges down to a red. So for example, for the previous day, it was green, 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 all the way here until it got to the 45.20 resistance level, and then it started rejecting it. So a lot of selling going on here down. So you want to get out of your long position here. So that's kind of what happened. So right here in the opening, it was strong. It went from a small, green cloud to an explosive green cloud, as you can see, and then just use the cloud of support and resistance levels. So Disney, super easy play, quick money, in and out. And let's see another one that I was following, FedEx. It was good for a short. I told everyone to short this to the 170 area. Reason being, let's see, let's go here to a yearly basis. So FedEx has kind of a natural resistance level. So this is this top purple line here. So going back to September of last year, or even just August of last year too, it was making highs, rejected this purple resistance level, crashed down, shot back up, went past it a little bit, but came right back down, and it was riding that, crashed, bounced back up, went all the way up to the resistance level, and crashed instantly, bounced back up, found a new, like a short-term resistance level. I just drew that route right here. It's just the second purple line, consolidated there for a little bit, shot back up to the old resistance level, shot right back down. So now coming here to August or July, right now you see it's kind of been an upward trend from the 150.68, from the low 150.68, So it's been going back up, strong, resistant at the 178 level. So from me just looking at this, seeing how it always respects this level, respects this resistance, always rejects it and goes back down. I'm like, okay, let's go ahead and take this for a short position. So now let's open up for the intraday basis. So and after our so just looking at yesterday's movement, you can see right here that there was strong rejection at the 175.29. So for me, that's going to be kind of a noticeable level. So if it opened, above 170, 175.29, that's a long play. If it opens below that, that's a short play for me. So right here, as you can see, remember what I said. If it's green, that means there's a lot of buying action, buying opportunity. Take this for a long call. If it's red, that means it's a short position. So right here, you can see towards the closing bell from yesterday, it was transitioning from green to red. So right here, below the 175 level, open below. Let's see. So let's go back to my TEMAs. So like I said, if the purple line is below the orange, that's a short. So even yesterday, you can see that the purple, was below. So that is a clear indication of, short this. So right here, opening bell at 9:30, the opening price was below the orange, above the purple. You can see the purple kind of let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit. Just speaking, you guys can see what I'm seeing better. Let's go delete that. So right here, you see this first candlestick rejected, going over the orange. So that's a clear indication. Take this for a short. So right here, you go in, you short it, found support around the 174 level, bounce back up, bounce straight into this 174.67 support or resistant, and as well right next to that 35 TMA support. For me, this was the most ideal entry. Green and sin red, that means just short that. So I shorted that bad boy from 174.67 all the way down to, I believe I sold around right here, around 9:30. So all the way to the 172 level. That's a quick $2 move. So in terms of options, it's a big payout basically. I had short positions that I bought for $63, ended up selling them for almost $200, and that was less than an hour. So I could have still hold on to it. There was no indication that was telling me, okay, now this is about to reverse and go back up. But my thing is, if you get profits, just take your profits and move on for your day. Because at any point, for example, if you're all over here at 10:36 out of one, like right below the 172 level, and you're like, okay, this one keep going down, boom, look at this quick reversal. So my motto is, if you get a decent amount of profits, don't get greedy, take your profits and move on. So, and then my final play of the day was RTN. So this is a stock that my buddy told me to look at. Did some charting on it, got my support and resistance level plotted out. So let's look this one on a weekly basis. So this is how I basically got my support and resistance levels. Got 207 right here. Got 196, 193, 189, and then this one right here, 169.71. So remember what I said, if the purple is above the orange, look for a long play. So as you can see right here, the purple line was almost going down to the orange, but it bounced back up, and then it was very narrow. Now it's opening wider and wider. So that means that there's strong buying power or buying opportunity here. So kind of give me a clear indication of like, okay, so I'm gonna get long in this stock. So if you guys don't see that on a weekly basis, let's look at it on a daily basis. So let's go ahead and zoom in right here. So purple, above the orange. Look at that. So that for me is a clear indication of like, okay, get long in this stock. My support level for this is going to be around the 188.50 area, and then 185. So in case everything starts, if this stuff starts tanking, I'll look into a short position to those level, but fairly long in it. Let's look at it from using the clouds setup as well. So I like doing this just to, one, because I never traded the stock before. This was kind of my first time trading it. So this is kind of my method of that I go about. Should I get long? Should I get short? What are my stop loss? What are my take profits position? So even with the cloud setup, as you can see, it was red, just turning to green. The green was very narrow. Now it's widening up. So for me, that means okay, there's strong buying opportunity here. So that's on a daily basis. Let's look at it on the weekly. On the weekly, it's just we kind of see the same thing, but except it's just now opening up. You see, it went from red, kind of consolidated here. It wasn't like a strong green. Kind of like went from green to red to green to red, and now it's green. And you can see it's kind of widening up right here. So for me, one is a early indication of okay, now this stock is about to go green. So what I'm looking here on a on an intraday basis, let's go ahead and use. I kind of like using the 3 minute setup to see what I'm gonna do. So remember, I have my support resistance level at 188.50. So in the pre-market hours, we saw that the purple line crossed below the orange. So for me, that means okay, this is gonna go all the way down to the 188.47. Ended up going a dollar less than that, but then it shot back up right into the purple and orange line and back to the 148.50 area, and then it found a short-term resistance at 189.30 or 25. So it was kind of consolidating between those two areas, that dollar range. For me, looking at this, that's not, you don't want to be in this stock, just simply because one, you're wasting your time. You could have bought something out. You could be looking at other stocks. So what I ended up doing is I just kept this under my radar. If it stays above the VWAP, go ahead and get long. So right here, I don't know if you guys see it. It's a super small wedge pattern happening right here. So right here, so a wedge is kind of when it's higher, is like higher lows and lower highs. So it's kind of like a triangle kind of thing. So this kind of dictates whether it's going to be a long or short position. So if it's above right here the highs, that means getting for long. If it's below the lows, get in for a short play. So that's kind of how it breaks this little consolidation period. I ended up getting it right here at 1206, 1205. Went from, let's see where that went from. Hold on, guys. So that went from 189.07 to 190, 190.50. Yeah, 190.50. So it was a quick dollar play. I ended up not selling it. I'm just holding on to it. I believe there's gonna be a stronger, a more defined move tomorrow, or sometime this week. If anything, I'll just roll this call into next week or so. So yeah, that's kind of how I went about making my trades today. The big names were just FedEx and Disney, and then RTN. Also Square was a very good one. It was very good for a short. Let's see. So over pre markets, the orange and purple line, downward trend, right? So it was right here at 82.38. So downward trend, you have your target price at 81.09. That's what, more than a dollar play. At opening, I would take that in a heartbeat. And then all of this was bonus, right? You wouldn't satisfy with just a dollar move on the $80 stock. You're making at least 60 $80 on in this player alone. If you roll this all the way down to the 179, you made at least $200 on this. So kind of just have everything, have your support and resistance levels planned out. See what's going on pre-market. Pre-market kind of sets the tone for all the stocks going to be moving throughout the day. Yeah, so today was one of those days that literally all the action took place between 9:30 and 10:30. So if you did not play, so let's see, because bright or this one lasted a little bit longer. This one ended at like a 10:45, right? And then if you want to get long in this, it was only like a 50 cent move. You're not making much money. You're making some money, but not a crazy amount. And even for me, this would have not have been an entry. The entry would have been more so right here at 12:30 when the purple and the orange do a positive crossover. But even so, it went from $80 to 8.15, so a 50 cent move. So like I said, this today's market was more so, um, for the first hour or two. Other than that, it was pretty stagnant market. So, all right, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Peace. Oh no.